And in 1947, we had a visit going there for the first time. He was the commissioner. He was the commissioner of fertility. He was the commissioner. Yes, he was the commissioner of fertility at the time.
Hello, cute little squirrel. You and me. Stare contest. I feel like I'm in my nightmare again.
So then he continued in 1950s, 1960s, 1970s, but there was minor escalations. It wasn't until 1985 that the cases got to Caracol and started working. So the first official field season with the cases was in 1985. And that came to change everything for us in terms of understanding what Caracol is and what it was for my world. I recall, Lion, I was in the military in 1985 when we went up there with the chases to protect them against looting and the looters. And one of my fellow soldiers found a very strange pattern in a stone placed together. And when the chase saw it, we followed it for 13 kilometers right back to the center. That was the Conchita Causeway. Of course, that soldier was not given the recognition. You know that. The recognition. The significance of Caracol, right, as one of the major Maya sites throughout the world in Maya. Just tell us a little bit so that people can understand the size and the wealth of Caracol during its time. Caracol in the Maya world was one of the largest cities. Probably easily the largest ancient city that we have. Archaeologists doing the research, they found over 36,000 stone buildings. Something else that I want to highlight is the kings. 1,500 water reservoirs of Caracol, over 1,500 reservoirs. If I inject a little bit here for you, and then you can talk about it. The river is about 13 kilometers away from where Caracol is, right? So that's the reason why they had to do all those reservoirs, right? Well, yes and no. Because what we normally find is that the kings would want the reservoirs to be near them so they could control the water and who gets the water. Right? You go to Tikal and you'll find massive reservoirs. It's out within an area where they can control it. Every city you have a big reservoir close to the king. But at Caracol, they decided that, you know something? This is so important that I need to take care of my people. So I need to put reservoirs everywhere. Right? So it was a different case. So it wasn't for control. It wasn't for, for them. It wasn't for control. This is the beauty about Caracol. Caracol is one of the few cities. It's not the only. One of the very few cities that allow the middle class to be educated. This is what the research that sees also. So we have found hieroglyphs in the middle class. We have found wealth. We have found, massive architecture, really important architecture in the middle class. Yeah, because usually you'll find that in only where the elite live, right? Yeah. Burial practices. That is something else that you can differentiate between higher class and middle class, or higher class and lower classes. Your burial practices. But then you go to Caracol and everything is all the rainbow. Tell us a little bit more about the burial practices so we understand what you meant there. For example, there's a particular type of offering that has been found that is fairly common at Caracol, which is finger bowl. A finger bowl is not about to wash your fingers. When we're talking archaeology of Maya tradition, ancient tradition.
Birds are so lucky, they can always escape.
And some of the offerings we have been finding at Caracol have been finger bowls. People's fingers have been chopped off or taken and placed in little bowls, covered in liquid places and left into the business. And we have found them even in middle-class residences. Even in middle-class residences, like smaller buildings that rise even 3 feet above the plaza.
Looks like the youth of Arcadia Bay still come up here to party. I never made it. Wowzer, Chloe drew that to mark our tree fort, so we'd always be able to find each other in case of emergency.
So these are some of the little things that you see. And I think that the family that governed the city of Caracol was looked up upon. And people desired that type of leadership to the point that we believe that the first ruler of Japan came from the Caracol dynasty. This is how important this family was. For the listeners, Japan is
a tree haiku? How pretty. A tree haiku? How pretty. Those sure aren't big feet. What kind of animal left those prints? Weird. Those glyphs remind me of the wind.
immediately that probably this school sent some to Mexico, that little kid came back, and then he was told, you need to go back to Honduras, you need to go to Honduras, because we have arranged your marriage, and you can marry the daughter of these guys in this town, and he becomes so influential that he marks and now and after, like, he gets there.
Crazy, but I can actually understand this completely.
Goes back and says, man, that is the guy. I'm a descendant of that guy. This is the magnitude of how important this country is. Like, this guy was sent, and he changed the world for fun. And because the way of life overall is so similar that you wonder how comes in those days, even though it was prehistoric. I mean, these people were really on top of their game. The Maya, as far as you find Maya cities as far as Honduras. That's where we find it. Then we come back.
Clearly, the Bigfoots are everywhere.
Now tell us, Lion, that, you know, the magnitude, the strength that Caracol had throughout the world with Maya, especially in their surrounding sites. Now, this is, you know, it's amazing how...
Clearly, the Bigfoots are everywhere.
And the story is coming alive because the Maya did a great job at leaving the information for...
Too bad it's locked. I remember racing up and down the steps.
Emphasize that one of the things that they accomplished is the ability to read and to write, and the ability to put dates on monuments, because that changed everything, because they're not only telling you what happened, but telling you when it happened. And, you know, so that puts everything into perspective, and it makes it easier for us to sort of piece it together. Now, Caracol, the influence it has in the immediate surroundings. A lot of people are, you know, over the years have made Chicago one of the greatest cities. Some people have even gone ahead and are calling it the capital. But let me tell you that Caracol, you know, being as great as it was, we have evidence that the ruler of Caracol killed the ruler of Chicago by 6 and that changed everything. What that brought to Caracol, there was an enemy.
This would be a nice photo of Chloe, framed by the sun.
We have Cali, Guatemala, and we have Caracol. So these are 3 families fighting for...
Sure you don't want to be alone?
Have a seat, Pete.
You're in a good mood.
Seeing my step dork get played makes me happy.
I'm not as brave as you. And David is indeed a step douche.
I'm sorry you had to experience it firsthand.
You have to live with him. Has he always been this way?
Ever since my desperate mom dragged his ass to our home, I never trusted David.
And it is governed by the Snake Kings. And they had opportunity, and the first thing they do, they approach the ruler of Caracol, and they say, listen...
I felt weird taking his photo with Kate, but he was such a bully.
Yes, he is. But why was he bullying Kate? She's kind of boring.
He has some kind of weird agenda.
He has a lot of secret files. Rambo still thinks he's gathering enemy intelligence. Did you take a peek?
Into the Maya world. So he come and he said, marry my daughter, she's beautiful.
Well, yeah, I couldn't help it.
Never change. What did you find?
Creepy photos of Kate Marsh, other Blackwell students.
This dude takes his job too seriously. He still thinks he's at war or something. He's a total surveillance fetish. Why are there spy cams in the house?
I knew you didn't know. Chloe, your house is under surveillance.
What are you talking about?
There are cameras all over the house. I saw it on a monitor in the garage.
I knew it. He's so hella fucking paranoid. I'll keep this a secret for now.
Sometimes ignorance is bliss.
No wonder I'm so miserable. Everybody in this town knows everybody's secrets.
What's Nathan's secret?
He's an elite asshole who sells bad shit cut with black stuff. And he dosed me with some drug in his way.
What?
I met him in some shithole bar that didn't card me. He was too rich for the place and too wasted, and he kept flashing bills.
Just tell me what happened, Chloe. Now.
I was an idiot. I thought he was so blazed it would be an easy score.
You needed money that bad?
Actually, yes. I owe big time. And I thought I'd have enough for me and Rachel if she showed up.
How much do you owe?
$3 grand plus interest. And before I could get a chunk of that from Nathan, he dosed my drink with some shit.
God, Chloe, I can't believe this. I mean, I do. Then what?
I know I passed out on the floor, I woke up and that crook was smiling, crawling towards me with a camera.
Go on.
Everything was a blur. I tried to kick him in the balls and broke a lamp. Nathan freaked, so I managed to bum rush the door and get the hell out. Max, it was insane.
I am so furious, I can't even speak. What did you do then?
I figured I would make him pay me to keep quiet. So we met in the bathroom.
And he brought a gun.
That was Nathan's last mistake.
He's still dangerous, Chloe. Not just to you.
Good thing you didn't tell anyone. Nathan Prescott better watch his back now.
I won't always be there to save you.
You were here today, Max. You saved me. I'm still tripping on that. Seeing you after all these years feels like
Destiny.
To later come back into her life and save her life. So that's in the part 1 segment way back.
If this is destiny, I hope we can find Rachel. I miss her, Max. This shit pit has taken away everyone I've ever loved. I'd like to drop a bomb on Arcady Bay and turn it to fucking glass.
Oh no! Not again! Why is this happening to me? Why am I here again? Is Chloe still up there? I have to find out. I feel like the doll is eating me. This feels like the end of the world. Come on, Max. You can make it. That doll. She looks so familiar. I've got to see if Chloe is safe. to me. Oh my lord! The tornado is back! October 11th? Is this Friday? That's only 4 days away. Oh. That tornado is headed straight for the town. Chloe, you're here. I'm back. Oh my lord, this is real. It's real. Oh man, this sucks.
Max, what's going on? I totally blacked out.
I didn't black out. I had another vision. The town is going to get wiped out by a tornado.
Oregon gets about 5 tornadoes every 20 years. You're just zoned.
No, I saw it. I could actually feel the electricity in the air.
Come on, take a breath, okay?
Chloe, I'm not crazy. But there's something else I have to tell you. Something hardcore.
Talk to me, Max.
I had this same vision earlier in class. When I came out of it, I discovered I could reverse time. Like I said, I'm not crazy.
But high, right?
Listen to me. How do you think I saved you in the bathroom?
By reversing time? Yeah, sure.
I saw you get shot, Chloe. Saw you actually die. I was able to go back and hit the fire alarm.
Okay, I see you're a geek now with a great imagination, but this isn't anime or a video game. People don't have those powers, Max.
I don't know what I have, but I have it. And I'm scared shitless.
You need to get high. It's been a hell insane fucking day. What the hell is this?
Snowflakes?
It's like 80 degrees. How?
Climate change. Or a storm is coming.
Max, start from the beginning. Tell me everything.
Mostly somewhat because normally we don't have a problem with mosquitoes, but some people accept more insects than others. So just to be on the safe side, bring the
So that was the first episode.
we'll be providing the lunch. We have extra water, so I think that.
Check out my podcast. That's what you're hearing in the background right now, recording.
From Solidazo to Caracol. and we'll be making a little pit stop once we get to the Doctor Silva. It should take us about an hour and a half to get there. Let's go. Alright, so we're coming across the actual bridge. This is the only suspension bridge in the country. This is the first time we'll be crossing the Macal River. And we're going to do that once again once we're leaving the mountain and heading into the Chiquibu. And as we're leaving the outfield of Santa Elena, the road starts to get bumpy, so just enjoy the massage. It takes about maybe 5 to 7 minutes to Cristo Rey. Cristo Rey is a small mestizo village. Unlike the next village we're going to see in the next 20 minutes, which will be San Antonio village. So for now, let's enjoy the hills. From here to San Antonio, it's a paved road. Enjoy this paved road because it's a little bit of bumpy road really.
I was going to ask you that, Lion. We were on a rough road and all of a sudden in the jungle right after this little village we run right into the smooth road. I was going to ask you if they paved it only for the village, but no, it continues going.
Yes, no, they paved the village limits and then they just connected the two villages. So as soon as we leave San Antonio, it will get bumpy.
Is this the village? Is this San Antonio, Lion?
Yes, we're coming into San Antonio. You can start seeing some of the farmland. They're planting a lot of, they're doing corn, you know, the normal, more common crop, the corn, the beans. But one of the crops that they're doing on the far end that you see over there, that is peanuts. So San Antonio produces a lot of peanuts. It's one of the communities that produces many of the peanut production that we have for the country. Another fun fact about this little village of San Antonio, this was the home of the last Maya shaman, Don Elijo Pante. You know, I'm really glad that to honor him, they named an area, a protected area after it says the Don Elijo Pante National Park. This is where Don Elijo used to go in and gather the leaves, the roots, the bark that he would use for his healing. So it was really, really nice that they were able to put aside that protected area and honor him. So that was really cool. So our next stop right now will be arriving at Doctor Silva. Now, what you're seeing, all these houses that look abandoned, all these abandoned houses, this is Doctor Silva. Today it is a forest taken. This is where you used to have a village in the past, a logging village, but no longer. Today it is used by the rangers, our BDF, who are our soldiers, use an area as well. And when the British come to do training, jungle training, they use some of these as barracks as well. The country allows the British Army to come do training, the Dutch Army also do some training here. So different times of the year, when you're coming through here, you will see them doing their exercises or preparing to go deeper into the jungles of Belize to do their training. And as we're going through Da Silva, heading towards Caracol, we continue seeing pine trees. But notice as we go down the hill, check this out. You see there's more pine trees, there's some oaks. Alright, just as we hit the corner, this is the Guacamayo Bridge. So this is the Macal River. Remember we crossed it earlier this morning when we left San Ignacio and the office? Alright, here we go. There are no railings on this bridge. Now the Guacamayo Bridge, Guacamayo is Spanish for macaw, because once upon a time we used to have a lot of macaws in this area. So fortunately, we're gonna see if we're lucky enough, we might see a scarlet macaw on the drive. Now behind us, what we're leaving behind is pine trees. So the Mountain Pine Ridge Reserve is behind us, and the river is actually the borderline between the Mountain Pine Ridge Reserve and the Chiquibu Forest Reserve. And look at the difference of forests. Broadleaf forest on one end, and we have pines on the other end. So that's really cool. I want you to. All right, now we're coming into Caracol now. This is the entrance. So welcome to Caracol. This is going to take a few minutes to use the restrooms and get your water. So everybody grab a bottle of water. And just before we start our hike, I'm just going to spend a few minutes on this monument that is here. This is very important. This monument that you're seeing here was recording some extremely important information, because this is where we have the name of our first ruler of Caracol. His name is Chak, the first ruler of Caracol. What is also important for me to mention is that this altar was found on one of the balconies here at the site. And I'm going to show the balcony later on, but we have the original here, so I wanted to take the opportunity to show you this original piece. Instead of staying on the main road, we're going to divert a little bit. We're going to take this little trail because I want to make a stop at a small little plaza. And what we're going to do, we're going to go from the smaller plazas, smaller buildings, until we get to the biggest building. So this residential group that you're seeing here is middle class. Now look at the positions of the buildings. They're all facing each other, or what's left of the buildings. Right now, it's just platforms. But the 4 platforms are facing each other, and they're aligned, north-south, east and west. What is very important for me to highlight right now is that when archaeologists were doing the research, and they were they were working in the higher class. They were excited for how wealthy the people that lived in Caracol were. They were finding jade. They were finding different burial offerings. Tombs were very elaborate. Now, this type of tomb that you see here, what archaeologists found here was 3 individuals, and these 3 individuals had something really unique. One, these 3 individuals had modified skulls, so they have cranial modifications. What is a cranial modifications? This is a status symbol. What archaeologists have found is that many sites, most of the elite and the wealthy people would take a fat piece of board, and they would take their kids, their newborns, and they would place a fat piece of board on the forehead of the kids, and they would bind it together. And squeezing it would deform the skull. So they would crop from the frontal lobe and create that fat forehead. And that is why when you're looking at carved monuments and images of kings, they're always, or almost always, looking sideways, either mostly to the right or to the left, and you can highlight, they were highlighting that their forehead and their nose were the same angle. Here at Caracol, we find that many of the middle class were doing this as well, just like the higher class. But the problem is that, look at where you're standing. We're only standing about maybe 2.5 or 3 feet from the plaza level. So this is a small little building for somebody who apparently is of higher class. The other problem we found, well, I see a problem, but it's something really cool, is that these individuals had a finger bow offering. The finger bows are not commonly found in middle classes. So the dynasty of Caracol allowed their people to practice some of these very important rituals for their dead, ensuring that their loved ones would go and finish successfully the journey across Xibalba on their way to heaven, just like him. So this is very important for me to highlight. All right, let's take a little trail right here. You follow me? Watch your steps. All right, check this out. This is a ceiba. This is a twin ceibas. These 2 majestic trees. Now, this is the sacred tree of the Maya and the national tree of Guatemala, but the Maya believe that, according to their mythology, the ceiba tree would be situated or located in the center of the universe. The branches would connect through the 13 levels of heaven, and as the tree was planted here on earth, the roots would go into Xibalba, the underworld. And the underworld to the Maya had 9 levels. So after that, the Maya believed they would have to journey through the 9 levels of Xibalba before exiting and rising with the sun and positioning themselves in one of the levels of heaven. And of course, the kings would look forward to staying on the 7th level, which is the highest level of heaven, right? And we see this expression of mythology and belief in every aspect of Maya culture. Because of all the forests that you see here, you can't actually see the architecture, but I'm just going to go around the corner, and I want to show you something. Check this out.
What's this?
This massive wall. This is the central Acropolis. This massive wall. This was raised. So we're looking at probably about 25 feet. This was raised about 25 feet. Now there's a platform right there. So when you use these little steps to climb, so just watch your steps. Let's come up. So we're coming up 25 feet above. Now walking into this is one of the residences. Now because it's old and, over the years, the trees that were on it, the roots destroyed the ceiling of it and everything crumbled down. So archaeologists had to remove all the rubble and stabilize the walls. So you need to see walls that are 3 feet, and there's 4 feet, but you can actually see the entrance and you can see the stone beds in there. Now the eastern building that you see on the side, and remember, this is the same pattern you're going to continue to see in every Maya site. Our residential areas are all series of buildings are positioned north, south, east, and west. And the eastern building, that is normally the shrine, especially if it's in a higher class. All right, I want you to follow me. We're going to climb up this mound. So there's a building underneath, but it hasn't been excavated. So it's still a little hill. But let's come up. It's only about 7 feet. Let's climb up on top, and I want you to get a view of this. We're looking at the back of the Group A. Now, this is just a label that was given to this series of buildings by archaeologists. That is the Astronomical Observatory. That's the back of it. Check it out. And no, it is not the main plaza. We still have a bigger building to climb. Before we go into the plaza, I want to take you to a reservoir. This water reservoir, this is one of the 1,590 reservoirs found in the city of Caracol. The Maya would dig these huge holes as they're getting the material for the construction and building their cities, and then they would plaster them, and they would have channels and little drains that would bring water from the different plazas, and it would fill these up, and there would be a spillway where once it gets filled to a particular point, water would spill over and drain off into a second reservoir, and then into a third, into a fourth, and it would continue going. And because all the plazas, we've been walking through some of these plazas and you've been seeing a lot of grass, beautiful grass and soil, but back then, these plazas were plastered white. They would look like a cemented, right? Beautiful white limestone plaster. When it rained, the rain would fall on the buildings, drain off onto the plaza, and our plazas are slightly angled. So the water goes to a corner and drains off, and it is channeled or guided into the reservoirs. And this is how the Maya kept drinking water. So even though the river is far from us, this is how they got the drinking water throughout the year. Now, this is one of the problems that the Maya faced. And no, let me just talk a little bit about the collapse, because since I'm talking about the water, during the collapse, it was a social structural collapse, and the abandonment of these cities was due to the lack of water. The drought that the region was affecting the region was intense, and it forced many cities to abandon. It was slowly and gradually the people just left. The people just left, right? Looking for other areas to live and to survive. It was on a survival mode, and this is what was happening back then. But one way of trying to remedy the situation was by the rulers building these reservoirs in every corner of the city so that their people could be okay. So that was one of the biggest differences between the city of Caracol and the others, that the kings here looked after their people even more than the others. At least this is based on what we're looking at. All right, let's continue walking. Across from the reservoir, you could see through the trees, that massive wall that you see there, and partially consists of doorways. That's our Acropolis. All right, you see there? So we're going to climb up. This takes about 15 steps up, and it's a long building. All right, you see on the other side? There was a much bigger structure to see there. You could see the big walls, the collapsed ceiling. All right, then under the other building there, you could see a doorway. The doorway leads you to a tomb under this floor. The Maya were burying their loved ones within their homes, and that is what you're looking at. The hole under that floor is because there's a tomb under that building. We're going to get a chance to go in there and take a look at the original plaster and the positioning of the stones and the way they were laid. All right, check it out. You see the bricks? It's been laid out and it's been tied together. And look at the space rocks. Little rocks have been placed between the rocks so that the weight doesn't push the mortar out and it will grip. This is really good masonry. This is what you do today. When you're building your concrete house, you put your cement and you put your brick on top.
BlackSunViking. We're here to talk about the largest ancient Mayan city in Belize. Actually, so we're going to take a virtual tour of Caracol.
So this is what we're doing. Original work that you see here.
Mayan city. Now what's really cool is I have a couple different videos going to be going on. We got this live podcast, so don't forget to download the Anchor.fm app. You can actually click on the message thing and leave your own reply if you want. What this will do is if you have any questions or you want to input, tell stories, spiritual experiences and things you've had, you can drop
Really awesome. All right, just watch your head as you're coming out, and we're going to continue walk. I'm going to take you to another plaza. All right, let's go. All right, check this out. This is a stela. A stela is a slab of stone that the Maya would use, and they would plant it. And when I say plant it, because they look like tombstones, just much bigger. Some of them are, 7 feet, 12 feet, 14 feet, and in height, and in width. Sometimes it would be 3 feet or 4 feet, depending on what the king wanted and how much information he wanted to place on it. But this is the one that we're looking at right now. This is a replica. And on this replica, you can see the image of the ruler, and then this ruler is Natahau. Natahau is the first son of Lord Water, the ruler who killed the king of the desert, and half-brother to Lord Khan II, who is the grandson of the three kings, and son to the Daily Black Ek. I just wanted to put this into perspective, right? So that you can know who he is. Look at his face. You see the flat forehead and nose? Look at his lips. Look at the headdress. You can see the feathers, and by the headdress looks like he has like the head of a bird, the beak. You see the eye right there. The long feathers are those feathers more likely of the quetzal bird. So here, the quetzal bird is not found in Belize, by the way. You'll have to go to the highlands of Guatemala to see that bird. But so they will be importing the feathers of this bird to adorn their headdresses. All right, let's continue walking. Now, this is a balcony. This balcony right here, as you can see, on the left side, it raises 1 foot. It angles about probably 40 degrees angle, and then it dips again, and it's a solid wall on the other side. So on either side, and the space between them, this is the playing area. And the Maya used to play a ritual. Well, we say a game, but it was more about ritual. The Maya used to use solid rubber. There was a solid rubber ball, very heavy, 7 or 9 pounds on the smaller ball. And some scholars would say that widows got sacrificed, others say losers got sacrificed. It's not really one. Every city was different, and the reason why games would be played would also be different. So not every game people will be sacrificed. So some will play just for ritual, and others, But one thing I'm going to tell you, the game was a ritual, and it was a reenactment of an event that happened in the past. There was an event, according to Maya mythology, where the hero twins ventured into the underworld, and their father and uncle had previously been challenged by the gods of the underworld, and lost the game and were killed. The hero twins went down, they were challenged, but because they had powers, they were half gods. They came down, conquered, and took the head of their father, and were the first ones to go through Xibalba and came back to Earth. So this is where everything sort of began in terms of their belief of how they would get to heaven. So thanks to this event, thanks to the hero twins conquering the Lord of Xibalba and achieving or being able to come out of Xibalba and go into heaven, this is what kings wanted to do. So they look at themselves and they would project themselves as descendants of the hero twins, descendants of the first father, descendants of these people, and upon their death, they would journey through Xibalba, instead of leaving offerings, and successfully going to heaven, would be rubbing elbows with the gods, and they would be able to ask the gods for blessings for their people. So that's the reason why the temples were humongous. And it was only the elite, the kings and the high priests that were allowed to climb on these temples, to go into these tombs, and they would pray, they would leave offerings, and they would pray for their ancestors and request that their ancestors bless them. It's more to it than just a game and somebody getting killed because you lost a game. At least that is my take. It's more than just a game. Alright, let's continue walking. Now, this plaza is amazing. This is the astronomical observatory. And without this particular building, the rest of the structures here would be worthless. So, structure A1, this is the one in the center. And there's 2 smaller buildings on the side. Those are the important buildings. So this massive platform, the platform probably rises maybe 30 feet. But above that, you have the center building, and you have the buildings on the side. Now, this is where the Maya would look at it and it would be highlighted for them. As the sun rises, the equinox, the vernal equinox and autumnal equinox would be highlighted on this one, as the sun rises behind the building. Summer solstice and winter solstice would also be highlighted on this one. So I will allow you to climb up. Just watch your steps, because the steps from this building to the west are very uneven. So let's take a climb. So let's walk up. Watch your steps. Alright, now look at this magnificent view. Now you're looking down at this plaza. All the stones that you see from here, those are stela, and we have altars. Some of those altars, the round stones that you see there, those altars were recording a particular cycle. Here at Caracol, the kings had were recording cycles of 20 years. Ikatun cycle, a 20-year cycle. We found 18 of those type of altars here at the site. Right? So we have a lot of, there's timekeeping, you know, and then also for festivities, for rituals, everything is being recorded by the elite here at Caracol. Something unique, and let me just share this. A few years ago, I had the privilege of coming with a person here who was an astroarchaeologist, and his research that he was doing was based on what the Maya and what they were doing and how they were recording these events. His research showed that the Maya recorded meteorite showers. So he came here hoping to see some of the meteorite showers, and here to believe, to see the sky and what the Maya was seeing. And what his research showed is that almost every ruler of Caracol came to power during or close to a meteor shower in the past. And this is thanks to the equipment and the research that NASA has been able to do. We could track back in time and go back to that specific date to see what the sky would be like and what would be happening. And using that technology, he was able to determine that many of our rulers came to power during a meteor shower. And even, and this is the other thing he wants to prove, is that many of them were born close in days of that meteor shower. So they were even planning for their kids to be born. You know how the Bible formation that they had and said, man, I want my son to be born during the meteor shower. Or I will be your ruler, but let the gods approve of me being your king. And when they came to power, and the sky lit up for them and had this natural fireworks, the people understood that it was the will of the gods for this person to be the ruler. So this is something that we've been seeing as part of the research that is ongoing for the site of Caracol. So it's still being worked on, but this is really amazing. So all right, let's continue walking. We have, I'd say, the best for last. So we're coming into the main plaza now. This is Kana, the largest building. 13 doorways at the end of the first set of steps. Now everything was planned, everything has a purpose. The 13 doorways is very, very important because the Maya believed that the heavens are 13 doorways. So if you take each doorway to represent one doorway for every level of the heavens, this is a heavenly place, and this is the home of the king. We're going to come up a little bit more. At the end of the second set of steps, there are 7 doorways. Now, number 7 and number 13 are very special. 7 is the highest level of heaven. And on the 7th, we're going to come up a little bit more. At the end of the second set of steps, there are 7 doorways. Now, number 7 and number 13 are very special. 7 is the highest level of heaven. And on the 7th level is where the king lives. So there you have the platform. And on that platform, we have 3 buildings. One to the north, one to the east, and one to the west. Remember, when we began our tour, we said the name of the site is Caracol. But the Maya called this place Auschwitz-Ha, and it means place of 3 hills. And this is because of the 3 temples that we're looking at right now. Now, the building to the north, right in front of us, has 2 doorways. Those are doorways that enter into tombs. Come, walk with me. We're going to enter into one of them. Look at this one. Beautiful. It's very cool because it's all limestone. And the steps to go down into the tomb. And then there's a little altar right here. This altar is where, so picture yourself coming into this little room 1500 years ago, and you want to pray and ask your loved ones for help. You would come in here, you would bring incense, you would burn the incense, and you're praying and you're talking to them. When you're finished, you come back out and you deliver the message to your people that your ancestors know what to do, and they will get back to you, and you put on a show for your people. All right, let's continue going up this building because what I want to show you from the top is really amazing. This view is already cool, but from here, looking west, the mountains continue west, and what you're looking at over there, that's the borderline. So from there onwards, that's Guatemala. That's the western border, and Guatemala continues off into the forest over there, and our forested area over here. So take a look at that. That's so beautiful. All right, get your photos, and we're going to start making our way down. Now, as we go down, I want to show you something else. Take a look at this little room right here. Now, from here, on the eastern building that's up here, that little mask that you see there, that mask, that's original. The red that you see there, that's original. That mask is the mask of what is believed to be the sun god. And this building itself is a little bit hollow because archaeologists found 4 tombs within this building. And one of the tombs is believed, and this is that it is believed that it could be the tomb of Natahau, of one of the rulers of Caracol. All right, now let's make our way down. All right, we're going to, instead of taking the main road, we're going to go through this little suburb area. It's called the Barrio. It's another elite residential area that we go through. We're going to continue to stay under the canopy of the forest. So that long building over there, that's another residential area. Again, 13 doorways. You see a pattern, right? 13 doorways. We're going to enter through the center, and then we're going to make a sharp left turn, and we will continue heading out. Once in the plaza, check it out. Buildings, the rooms to the north, to the south, to the east, and to the west. Now, we're leaving behind all these beautiful structures, and now it's more raw. We have mounds. That series of mounds on the left side, that's all natural. Archaeologists haven't stabilized the mounds on those, but we know they're there. You know, hopefully we get more funding and more research can be done. All right, we're back to the parking lot. So we're gonna take a little break, use the restrooms, and have some lunch. So we already brought the lunches, and then after lunch we're gonna head off to San Ignacio, right? Before stopping at the Mountain Pine Ridge for a little swim. You know, this place is amazing, and every time I come here, I'm wowed by this city. Once again, my name is Jorge de Leon, aka Lion. It was a pleasure being your guide today on this virtual tour, but let me invite you to come to Belize and take you to Caracol in person. My contact information is lionjr2005@yahoo.com. So that would be LIONJR2005@yahoo.com. You can find me and book your Caracol tour online at belizing.com. Thank you for choosing Belize.
All right, thank you, George. Thank you for the wonderful trip. We had a blast with George. I mean, the man is a wealth of information on Caracol, one of the most impressive sites in Belize, and very important as well throughout the world of the Maya, was one of the major players. All right, we took a few hours to get there from San Ignacio town. George's little van was quite comfortable. Okay, and in the nick of time, we were back in town. All right, so it was quite a wonderful day, ladies and gentlemen, throughout the world. Pretty soon, let's all pray that the pandemic eases down and we open up our borders and we open up our airports. So pretty soon, you can come back to Little Belize and visit Caracol and other fascinating spots that we have here to enjoy and to live around in nature. For the Belize Travelcast, this is Xavier Gutierrez. See you next time. So thanks for listening to today's episode. For more information and resources on today's topic, please see the show notes on BelizeTravelcast.com. We would also appreciate if you can post a review of today's show and let us know what you think. I always enjoy getting feedback from our show listeners. The Belize Travelcast is a production of Belizing.com and Belize Digital Media.
This is Kana, the largest building at Caracol. The 13 doorways is very, very important because the Maya believed that The heavens are 13 doorways. So if you take each doorway, this is a heavenly place. And this is the home of the king. The Maya called this place Auschwitz-Ha, and it means place of three hills. And this is because of the three temples that we're looking at right now.
Hello from beautiful Belize. Thanks for tuning into this exciting episode of the Belize Travelcast. I'm your host, Javier Gutierrez. Alright, a very pleasant good day to the entire world, a very pleasant good day to the entire Belize. Even though we're on tough times right now with the pandemic, today we're going to be having quite an interesting day. We're going to be having a virtual tour of one of Belize's most famous sites, or archaeological sites, known as Caracol.
Alright, that was awesome. You can check that. I may have the link below. Check out my podcast, and we'll have all that goodness there. Someone had asked me if I am single or married. It's interesting. My reply was, as you know, I'm not looking, but it seems as soon as I leave the parasitic energy, which, it gets old, it's just like, screw it, nobody cares anymore. She moves on. That honeymoon stage is kind of like over with, you know what I mean? So, yeah, check out it's called Largest Dream, Lucid Ancient Mayan Jungle Mansion, Celestial Healing, there. So she said, are you single? And my reply is, I don't believe in those things such as marriage. I live life and enjoy life. I have the blissful life. If a divine feminine goddess wants to be a part of my reality, I would make sure she is in heaven as her boyfriend, God King, and only love her for each moment as an adventure and filled with the fun heart-filled moments, one dramatic turn of events after another. Okay? But we are in a jungle heaven mansion instead. That is my promise to my divine feminine goddess princess, whom I will love and cherish for good. I am the living soul. Ooh, that's good. I've done with the Archon soulless beings who wish to waste my life energy and suck me dry. I mean, there's just really no point at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. It's like, why I sit here, like, the girl calls me back 6 days later, whatever. And I'm sitting here talking for 6 hours. I mean, it's just a waste. No input, just dead, cold silence as can be. And I'm like, really? Okay. Yeah, why aren't there, like, pictures of people with corona? Like, why don't they show that? There's any footage of that? Like, where is that at? I don't know. Now they're going to watch a BlackSunKing012 channel, is what it was. Part 6, Life is Strange. Incredible. Incredible. I see Nirvana reacts to Utero critics. Should be interesting. Always liked the character of... always liked the character of Kurt Cobain, as he's more real than most of the shills. Gatekeeper Archons, they're soulless. But he was kind of like a soulless Archon that was on the verge, and I think that's why they had to kill him. Because they were just like, fuck it, this guy's too real. Here we go.
In Utero sounds nothing like a record made by millionaire rock star. Produced for the most part by Chicago noise rock king Steve Albini, In Utero sounds nothing like a record made by millionaire rock stars, whatever the band members' current financial status may be. But what does the real world make of this album? Well, we took some copies to a college campus in New York City and asked some students for critical feedback. Here's the verdict.
Are you a fan of Nirvana?
Sure.
Yes, I am. What do you like about them?
Yes, I am.
Just the way that they're not into what everybody else is into. You know, they just sort of do their own thing. I respect that in anybody.
Are you a Nirvana fan?
Oh?
Nirvana.
Nirvana?
Yeah.
What's that?
You've never heard of Nirvana?
No, I haven't.
No. What kind of music do you listen to?
I usually listen to club music.
Did you know that they have a new album out?
I haven't.
No. What kind of music do you listen to?
I usually listen to club music.
Did you know that they have a new album out?
Yeah, I do. I haven't heard it, though.
Could you take this home and listen to it and then come back tomorrow at the same time and tell me what you think?
Sure.
All right.
You will?
Yeah, no problem.
Sure. I work here, so I'm here every day.
I'd love to.
Tell me, how did you like In Utero?
Oh, it was great. It was really good.
It's very similar to the first album. And I got a couple songs that will be playing on the radio. They're going to be hits. Third track, I think. Heart-Shaped Box will probably be on MTV or something. And I liked the ninth track, Penny Royalty, which I really thought was good.
There are a couple songs that I could listen to, and I enjoyed the music too. A lot of the lyrics I thought were just thrown in. I mean, they could have deeper meaning, and I tried to really analyze them. But some of these lyrics just seem like, I think if I was stoned when I listened to it, I might have liked it better. But I don't do that anymore.
I listened to some of it. The first couple of songs were pretty good. The fourth song, Rate Me, I was not too happy with that song. I found it kind of offensive.
I prefer the beginning part of the album, especially Rate Me. Great.
Rate Me was just that's just like, I think they want controversy with that song, because all it is, it had no real meaning to it, I thought, other than it was just really blatant and loud.
Zone was really good. Rate Me was really good, and Heart-Shaped Box was excellent.
All of them had high tempo, especially the beginning of the album. All of them were great. And then they mellowed out around the middle. Then at the end, it hypes you back up again. Perfect arrangement on it also.
Scentless Apprentice was good. I think they should open with Scentless Apprentice. Francis Farmer will Have Revenge on Seattle was also good, but I don't know who Francis Farmer is. I think if I knew who Francis Farmer was or what that meant, I would have enjoyed it more.
Would you recommend it to your friends?
Sure, definitely. If they have the first album, they'll enjoy this one.
It was pretty good. It's not what I usually listen to, but I'd listen to it again.
Nirvana. Buy it. Get it. Can I get another one?
Good advice. Nirvana will be starting a U.S. tour next month. Do try to catch them. In Washington, meanwhile, the band Out of Chord, with their faces currently gracing the covers of more than half a dozen magazines right now, Nirvana is back on the scene in a major way. The band's new album, In Utero, will debut at #1 on next week's Billboard chart. And when the lads passed through New York City last week, they stopped by the MTV studios to talk about the record and to talk about some of the things fans have been saying about it on MTV News. And here they are.
A lot of the lyrics I thought were just thrown in. I mean, they could have deeper meaning, and I tried to really analyze them. But some of these lyrics just seem like, I think if I was stoned when I listened to it, I might have liked it better. But I don't do that anymore.
That's it. I'm in college. It's target marketing.
The first couple of songs were pretty good. The fourth song, Rate Me, I was not too happy with that song. I found it kind of offensive.
It's an let me repeat that, anti-rape song. I don't know, I just thought, I got tired of people trying to put too much meaning into my lyrics, being too, not making enough sense, so I decided to be really blunt and bold. But we have an idea of a sound that we've been wanting for a long time, because of Steve Albini's production from a lot of other bands like Breeders and the Pixies and stuff like that. It's just that sound that we really like, and we thought that sounded so natural and real, and it has a really beautiful ambience to it. On the record it says recorded by, doesn't say produced by. That's Epic. He's like Mr. Epic. That's his thing. Yeah, but we gave him $2 million. That's true.
Up until Until now, Kurt Cobain has been the musical force behind Nirvana, writing all the music and lyrics to their songs. But for the track Scentless Apprentice on their new album, all three members collaborated for the very first time. Is this a trend that will continue?
Hell yes. Takes the pressure off of me. Dave came up with the drum beat, and we just built the song off of the drum. And the riff, yeah. He came up with the drum beat, and then he showed me the riff, you know. And it was really simple, and I thought, well, this could work. And I was thinking, this is kind of bonehead, and I thought, we'll work on it. And it turned out great. And now I'm excited about it because now we can write together even more. You know, we're really passive-aggressive people. We don't like to, complain to each other very often. And that's probably why we survived.
We should go into therapy, all of us. Sit down with this therapist.
No way. We should just bitch about each other in articles, separately. Yeah, read the book. Yeah. Read the book, I know, yeah.
Nirvana's authorized book, Come As You Are, filled with intimate details of the trio and their rise to the top, is just as revealing to the band as it is to their fans.
I learned a lot from that book.
Yeah. I learned a lot from almost, the first two chapters that I should just shut up sometimes.
Nirvana, a great record, but you've got to see them live. The band will start a U.S. tour at the Arizona State Fair in Phoenix on October 18th, then move on to Albuquerque on the 19th, and will be coming soon to a...
Are you tired of everyone talking about environmental protection and Fridays for Future, but nobody really doing something significant about it? Now, you have the chance to actively do something by contributing to the most innovative and sustainable packaging solution in the world, and even getting up to 5 times your financial contribution back as a reward. Hello, I'm Alex, CEO of Living Packets, and in the past 2 years, we have worked with a team of 50...
What the fuck? So it's gonna get shit.
You do what?
A book show.
Oh.
Talk to different people about favorite books that you've read and how it's inspired you or what you learned from it or something like that. So do you have a book that comes back to you every once in a while?
Yeah, well, I've read Perfume by Patrick Susskind about 10 times in my life, and I can't stop reading it. It's like something that's just stationary in my pocket all the time. It just doesn't leave me, and every time I'm bored, like I'm on an airplane or something, I read it over and over again. Because I'm a hypochondriac, and it just affects me. It makes me want to cut my nose off.
What's the book about?
It's about this perfume apprentice in France at the turn of the century, and he is disgusted basically with all humans, and he just can't get away from humans, so he goes on this trek, this walk of death, where he goes into the rural areas where there's woods all over the place in these small villages, and he only travels by night, and he just every time he smells human, like a fire from far off away, he'll just get really disgusted and hide, and he just tries to stay away from people. And I can relate to that.
Do you ever use what you read in any of your songs?
As a matter of fact, I use that very story in Scentless Apprentice. Yeah. So, that's really one of the first times that I've ever used an actual story, as a book, as an example of a song. I've always tried to stay away from that, but now that I'm running out of ideas more and more, I tend to do that.
Is it hard when you spend your whole life doing the first few albums, and then suddenly everybody needs your attention, you have to do interviews, you have to travel around, and suddenly is it hard to come up with ideas?
I don't know. I've just noticed that people expect more of a thematic angle with our music. They always want to read into it. And before I was just using pieces of poetry and just garbage, just stuff that just would spew out of me at the time. And a lot of times when I write lyrics, it's just at the last second because I'm really lazy. So, and then I find myself having to come up with explanations for it, So I thought I'd, prevent that this time and actually have an explanation for some of the songs at least.
There's a lot of baby references in all the songs. I didn't think there would be, but you have like wounds, baby's breath, baby throw up, Baby
throw up?
There's baby everywhere. This is obviously become a huge part of your life.
It has been a part of my life before Courtney was even pregnant, though. I've always been just fascinated with medical texts and charts, and I guess I secretly want to be a doctor or something. I don't know. Or a person that works in a cremation factory. I don't know. I've always liked anatomy. Ever since I was a little kid. When I first got that little model of the Invisible Man, or the Visible Man, it's just something that I like. And since I've become a big rock star and made a bunch of money, I found this place in the Mall of America in Minneapolis that sells nothing but medical stuff. It's a medical supply store that they've offered to the public. It's really great. I bought all these fetuses and anatomy men and charts and stuff, and it was like a dream come true. Because I've always been really poor, and if I could find something like that in a second-hand store, I'd barely have enough money to buy it, and a lot of times I couldn't buy that stuff, so I just went on this rampage of buying all this stuff, and I think I've overused it, for like pictures for the album, and I don't know, I just went overboard on it.
The old saying that you can't buy happiness, I think that's true.
Well, yeah, you can't. I look back on going to secondhand stores and stuff like that and finding a little treasure like that, and that actually meant more to me because it was more of a stab in the dark in a way, because you didn't know if you're going to be able to afford it, and you don't know what you're really looking for, and when you find it, it's more special to you rather than having $1,000 and going into a store like that and just buying the whole store. It's not as special.
Because you've achieved so much success, so quickly, so surprisingly, you've had a baby, you're married. What excites you now?
My baby, my marriage. I don't know. I still like playing too. I mean, Chris and Dave and I haven't changed at all. I mean, believe it or not, we get along just as well as we ever did. We're just as the same passive-aggressive people as we used to be. We never fight. When we're pissed off at each other, we just hold it under our breath and have respect for one another in that way. It's easier to work that way, because we have a mission, I guess.
How do you personally cope with having relationships, private relationships, always being scrutinized publicly? It must be really difficult.
Well, it is, but I mean, I still have a lot of the same friends that I used to have, so they don't seem to mind, and that isn't ever really exposed too much. No one writes about how me and my friend Dylan walked down the street and did whatever, but
they rip apart you in Portland. They love to do that.
Yeah, I don't know why, but we're just I don't know. I guess my ego could be talking right now, and I could say, well, we're interesting people, but I think we're just easy scapegoats. It's just, it started with something, and then, people just pick up on it and carry it along. We turn into cartoon characters, and there's nothing I can do about it, really. I can threaten to sue and, try to bring up libel laws and stuff like that for people that write shit like that about us, but if you've ever looked into that, it's pretty much a lost cause. You have to have a lot of money to do that. And, I could spend the money that I earned last year all on fighting the Vanity Fair piece, and they'd end up winning because they have more money, So
there's a magazine in Canada that incorporates itself for each issue, and then it goes bankrupt on each issue, so that it could write whatever it wants, and no one could ever sue them.
Wow, that's a pretty smart thing to do.
Yeah, it is.
That kind of reminds me of how a lot of stations in the States got a hold of our new album, but it was like someone had anonymously sent them like 5th generation cassette copies of our new album, and in order for them to play it, they started on the weekend at 5 o'clock, like on Friday nights. That way they could play it throughout the rest of the weekend without having the council, sue them. And that's kind of smart, You know?
Free publicity for you anyway.
Yeah,
Ultimately, the
well,
album's going to come out.
That's true, but the thing is that there's been so much controversy about how bad the record sounds, you know, and how lo-fi it is. And to hear it like that compared to all the other songs that were on the radio that night, it really disgusted me. And it pissed me off because it sounded terrible. It sounded really, really bad. And then everyone that heard it that weekend is going to say, yeah, you're right. Okay, the stories are true. The Nirvana album really sucks, and I'm not going to buy it, you know. So it just kind of bothers
Damn, 60% let the bird die? That's bullshit. Jesus. Out of time. Let's play it. Fuck it. Part 2, baby.
In a previous episode of Life is Strange.
Get away from me, psycho!
Calls film little pieces
What the
of time.
fuck?
But he could be talking about photography.
Or have you done something wrong? Talk to me.
Hey, Victoria.
What do you want, Max?
I see everything here in Blackwell. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, and leave me alone.
For reals, Warren. This is between you and me.
Don't insult me. Max, go on.
Hey, leave him alone. Max? Chloe?
It makes perfect sense I'd see you today.
Welcome home, Max.
That's Rachel Amber. Her missing person posters are all over Blackwell.
6 months ago, she just left Arcadia. Without a word. Without me. Something happened to her.
Wait. Is that grass? Tell me the truth. That's an order.
I didn't black out. I had another vision. The town is going to get wiped out by a tornado.
Max, tell me everything.
I have a quick overview of the whole fucking show. Snooze. Might as well snooze. Yeah. Still playing Squaresoft 20 years later, baby. That's some crazy shit.
I'm so wrecked after staying up all night. I could use my rewind to catch a few more Z's, but maybe I better save my strength.
turned into my own self. Let's get her up.
Being a superhero is dirty work. I need a shower.
Someone texted me. We live in a virtual reality game.
Meanwhile, my guitar gently sleeps. Just because some ass pranked a girl's shampoo bottle and her hair fell out, we have to safeguard our toiletries. So, summer camp. Okay, Max, let's hit the showers now. Good morning, clothes. I hope you slept well. Now, shall it be my Gucci shirt with a Vuitton jacket? Would Man Ray call them selfie portraits?
Taylor Swift started. Kind of a thoughtful, egocentric, shy, self-conscious, overly analytical girl. Picks up the guitar. Water.
Good morning, Lisa. Your leaves are lovely today. I may not have a green thumb, but I have a green finger. Drink up. It's got electrolytes.
That's what plants crave. Actions will have consequences. I love that. Oh, maybe because I'm feeding it electrolytes, it's gonna kill it.
I admit, this is hilarious, but I shouldn't sink to Victoria's bully level. Whew. I could get lost doing time travel research. Warren is blowing up my inbox now. As long as he helps me figure this out.
Hey Max, the doctor is in the house. I've been thinking long and hard about your weird request. I just sent you a bunch of physics and science links. Without further ado, here's a few time travel films we must see. I'll send you more info as they come to mind. Doctor expects full explanation on your newfound chrono interest. The Time Machine 1960 film. Fun early steampunk sci-fi. The Morlocks' faces melt. Primer. Lo-fi. Travelers in Dallas. Brilliant. I'll explain it, but after you watch it. Time After Time. H.G. Wells. Oh, not H.G. Wells. Uses his time machine to chase Jack the Ripper in modern day San Francisco. Is super cool and clever. Pulp Fiction series switching between timelines gives a good basic outline of relativity, plus Uma, somewhere in time, big cult around romantic sci-fi written by Richard Matheson. The best kind of chick flick. You'll cry like a baby, I did. Time Slip. You can borrow my copy of this awesome Japanese flick, or we can watch it together. Sony Chiba and his soldiers end up back in samurai days, basically Tanks version ninjas. Time Cop Jean-Claude Van Damme does the splits on a kitchen counter in his underwear. Need I say more? That's the time I have now, is we have actual quantum physics to plow through, and not your fun Back to the Future homework that I never get. Now that you've discovered the art of science, I expect you to see you in the lab more often. I could always use a new partner in time. Get it? Don't hit. I'm leaving. Doctor Who.
This is so insane, it sounds logical to me.
Time travel is not just science fiction. History has recorded numerous cases of individuals who have managed to bend all rules of time and space continuum. The present dilemma is that those who can navigate temporal dimensions are rightly reluctant to reveal themselves due to the impact of public and government scrutiny. Nations around the world have spent literally billions of dollars trying to build, in top secret, their own version of Time Machine. Thankfully, this is not the case where infinite revenue equals control of the infinite. Or you might not be reading this website at all. This is where the chrononauts enter the picture. It's based on the vast scientific information that time travel is only act-bookable on a person-by-person basis, not driven or dominated by any one particular physics or thermodynamic calibration. For this reason, we have created a forum where past, present, and future time travelers can share tips, ideas, and experiences to guide those navigating the rocky seas of time. Hence our moniker, the Chrononauts, brave solitary adventures on an infinite voyage. Register with the forum, step in the river of time without fear of being swept away. Now, why she's interested...
This wormhole thing makes total sense, but
okay, now they're talking about wormholes.
Doesn't explain how what no scientist ever has.
Wow. So, like, yeah, when you look in the mirror, you know, it's like, you ever notice that you have different sides of yourself? Like, I mean, you've seen yourself, but it's almost like every time you look at yourself in the mirror, it's like there's a different version of you. I don't know if that makes sense. You know, like a cartoon, even, they can be different, but like Homer Simpson, for example, it's always the same, you know, character, right? I mean, they can draw that character perfectly. Now, when you look in the mirror, are you always the same character? It's hard to kind of determine. You think about it. Basically, because what you are experiencing is you're observing behind yourself, behind you. You are the observer. So it's like they say, the eyes of the beholder. It's pretty crazy if you think about it. But I mean, imagine if you were like a black sun or black hole. Okay, so they call it wormhole. The archons are going to call it something, right? And they're not going to call it the thing that it is. It's a wormhole, right? So you see the thermodynamic thing. You've probably seen it. So they always tell you there's two poles. They want you to get sucked into duality. So you'll see, I don't know if you can see this picture. It's not a good picture, but it sucks in. And this is what they believe gravity is. Gravity pulls down So like if you dropped an apple, okay, it hits the ground, right? So they say, oh, that's gravity, right? Okay, that makes sense. They got some word for it, but it's actually not what it is. It's a very lazy terminology. There's dielectric acceleration is that process of dielectric energy being poured out like the middle of a magnet. That's why in the middle of the magnet, it's like the eye of the storm, which we're going to go into that on the part 2 of the unlocking the keys to the U inverse, as we talked about before. Okay, but we've never had a situation where we drop an apple and it just keeps falling and falling infinitely. Kind of like a mirror, you know? Like if you looked into a mirror, you ever looked at your eye, you know, like the pupil of your eye? I mean, you could just trip on that for hours. I truly could sit in there and do that. But like I said, you ever looked at yourself in the mirror and seen yourself different than you were before? Like it's like some days you look different. You're like, man, I don't even see like I'm the same person. Or maybe you could get the same haircut and you got the same deal going on. Or if you had long hair, it's just like, are you ever the same person you were before? You know what I mean? No, you're constantly progressing. You're constantly growing, in my opinion. Of course, I mean, unless you're an Archon, perhaps Archons just stay right where they're at. And I kind of feel that way, like they're just like the same fucking, just like in nature, you go back and it's right where it's at, you know. I feel like that with them, but I'm not them, right? I know the hell I've been going through. That's my life, right? Just like what drama you go through, right? I don't know what drama you've gone through today, but you may touch base with me and we can collaborate and talk and we can connect. And then you're like, oh yeah, I've related to what Eric's saying here, or I'm going to tell Eric, I'm going to open up to him and tell him what, you know, I went through today. And you of course you could always do that with me. I'll listen to you. You could tell me, oh, this is shitty, my girlfriend this, or my mom, or my dad, or my friend, they fucked me over, my boss. And I'll listen. And, you know, I may be able to relate and say, you know, fuck them Archons, you know. Just laugh at them. Laugh it off. It's a joke. And it is a joke, right? And in a sense, it's like we've fallen down a wormhole we created for ourselves, however. Because if we went to a job, for example, like a boss, I've done it too. I mean, what do you expect? You are when you understand the system, the matrix, if you will, you are a slave to this system, right? I mean, that Europeans created this whole employment thing. Okay, that's why you get a W4 or whatever it is, 40, or whatever the hell all those things is, you know, for Social Security, all that shit. You know, you file your taxes and all that. Well, all that shit was designed by the Europeans, okay? And I can even prove to you that the real reason they got us going to work, y'all, is so we can pay taxes that we owe to Queen Elizabeth. And I have some major evidence on that. I know it sounds crazy, but we still live according to the Parliament. The monarch is our ultimate hierarchy. They're the top of the pyramid, and it's why UN is the banking dynasty. A bunch of Zionist Jews from London and, of course, Israel. That's a whole other political thing, whatever, spectrum. So why would I want to promote that, though? Like I said, I'd rather be fucking dirt poor in the jungle, out on the streets and growing in the grass. You know what I'm saying? Being the bushman, growing herbs and feeling good all day. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You know, you're the one that determines your wormhole, the black holes you go through in life, a wormhole. That's about the worst description they could ever give us, is a wormhole. Like, and I get it, you know, we're like worms, or like you're going through the space and time. And that's what they call the fourth dimension. Like, Archons are so funny. When you spiritually understand this shit and you get it, like when we're talking about we're on a bending light around a celestial sphere, right? And like you can see that, like it's every day you wake up, you go at night, there's a big sky. What if that was the actual daytime? What if that's morning is actually night? And then during the daytime is actually when you're supposed to kind of rest and not be slaving. But they've told us that we need to be out there slaving because it's night, it's daytime. The light's out, let's go out and let's start building shit, right? What if I told you that was wrong? What if I told you you're supposed to be out there gazing at the sun or sleeping out in the sun all day, every day, getting recharged like a battery? Wow. It's totally different than what we're told, isn't it? And this is where the word Christian came in place. They were called Christianos. Christianos in Greek, the original Christians, it meant poor fellows. Why? Because they weren't wealthy enough to actually enjoy life. And man, did they not enjoy life. They were slaves, but it was justified slavery. The elite would give them crumbs off of their tabletop, basically, as long as these sun worshippers, is what Christian means, as long as the sun worshippers stayed nailing the railroads and building the bricks, the masons to build the churches. That was the first thing they do, by the way, is they build churches. And again, if you're a Mason, I'm not against you. My whole entire family is filled with Freemasons, okay? My cousin works for the Federal Reserve, banking Mason. I have a literal Mason who is my cousin. Both are laborers. You'll see them out in the workforce, like, on the highway, working as, like, what's that called? A Splenda or MoDOT, these type, Masonic laborers, okay? I mean, way up there, a lot of them. Making good money, right? And that's the point. They sell their whole life, and they have 3, 4, 5 kids. They better, right? So that's basically the sellout, is to be a Christian or a Catholic. It's the same thing. They worship the sun. Meaning you take your time out to not sleep during the day. Instead, you need to be working during the day. That's what Christian is. It's a sun worshiper for a reason. Because while the sun is out, they're working. They're slaving. Because they need to get money to pay for their family. So it starts off as a good thing, but you're actually cursed. That's why Christian means poor fellow. It's a sad thing. It's not supposed to be a good thing. A free fellow, which is called a sovereign citizen, freedom, a free sovereign, straw man. Maybe that's why they call them straw men. They sit out in the straw and the hay all day and they can sleep. I don't know. But the freest people, nonetheless, were the ones who didn't have to worry. They lived off the land. They owned land. Whether they owned it or not, it didn't matter. If you had the courage to say, this is my land, like the Aborigines, like some Germans and people in Belize, they declared sovereignty. They'd say, oh no, I'm squatting on this land, fuck you. No one owns the land. If you're smart enough to understand that and understand it, then you're not getting sucked into the Matrix wormhole, right? Basically. So what's this say here? We just went through the time travel thing. Because this girl, she can speed back time, right? This is Wormhole. Welcome to the wonderful world of Wormhole. A team lazily overexploited in science and science fiction for neophytes visualize a wormhole like an invisible tunnel, okay, from one end of space to another, okay? Again, it kind of right, I guess. Thus, if wormholes exist, time travel is possible and probable. Yeah, kind of. Okay, the human trick is to discover the means or device needed to link the transverse both ends of this time tunnel. Einstein's theory of relativity posits that this is within the realm of theory, while a new generation of physics hopes to develop actual working model of the fascinating space and time conundrum. Inside, wormholes are links and articles relating the most recent development of this fluid theory. Okay. Alright, there's a couple problems. First of all, when we are actually highlighting Einstein and we're using him as a tag to go look and research on, it's like that is the biggest archon. If you were to actually go want to look anything up into real truth physics and science, you would go look up Tesla, okay? Not Einstein, first of all. Like even Tesla said, Einstein is a fuzzy-headed crackpot. German fellow, nonetheless. They chose a German guy, make it like, Germans are all smart. There are millions of other German horticulturists, physicists, and scientists that are far exceed Einstein's mental capacities, just so everybody knows. Fuck, me and my buddy exceed Einstein's capacities. He's actually a fool, a crackpot, not very smart, not spiritually so. He's a Masonic poster child for for genius. That's all he was. Just like this new guy today called Elon Musk, which just is practically stealing all of Tesla's patents, which, believe it or not, Trump owns all of Tesla's patents, believe it or not. So that tells me Trump is someone more significant than what we think, by the way. Whether any of that shit matters or not, doesn't matter. But what I'm getting at is, no. Space-time continuum, again, measuring time, what is it called? Light, speed of light, all this other shit. Okay, no. That's not how it works. This is all singular, just as you see it. Okay? What you see is what you get. When you see outside, there's a big black sky, and it goes infinitely. And you, just because you can't see past it, and you believe we're on a spinning ball globe, doesn't mean that that's not a big black ball. You see what I'm saying? And that we're on a bending light, literally going around it. Okay? And that makes a picture of Saturn on the side of this glass dome. Oh, that's what Saturn's doing with these rings? Yeah, that's showing a visual photograph, a hologram, if you will, of the sun doing its thing around this black ball, this black sun. And we see it, and we can analyze it in the mirror, just like my buddy Sean said something about a mirror, looking in the mirror. Okay, imagine if there's many glass domes on the outside, because there's a lot of evidence showing this, by the way, where glass comes from, and then it breaks into sand, and that's where we see all the sand. Where does glass come from? It's heat and it's silica, right? So it's that heat, electricity from the sun, and the silica, which is basically sand, which ends up being land, like gravel or land mass, soil, things like that. Ormus is a kind of an alchemical design of that, which is really fascinating in itself. So imagine, though, you can't get into this outer space black ball, right? But we're going around it, and so basically that's this ether. There's a ton of energy in it, and it's nothing, but it's everything all at the same time. So it's all repeating everything we're living out right here. The stars are telling our story, literally. We're like star people. And whatever's going on inside that black ball with these stars, and it keeps repeating, you literally could watch it, and it's, what's it called? Predictable. It's predictable. This is why people know, oh, it's retrograde, Saturn retrograde, Mercury, blah, blah, blah. They know these things because it's simple. You just look at what's in the sky, right? And that's kind of interesting in itself. But no, like Elon Musk, Einstein, they're all shills, archons that are misleading us living souls who can use our own eyes and know our own Tantra technology within ourselves. Tantra means technique or technical, technology. Okay, the fact that I can get up and use my phone and call my buddy or text my friend, okay, that's technology, that's Tantra magic in a sense. A lot of people think it's just sex. And that's actually what my podcast earlier today was kind of a little bit about. So it's interesting stuff, but Elon Musk, the energy, that they're always acting like we're so hopeful of the future and technology and this, whatever it is, collider, whatever the hell. I mean, if they do that, we're just gonna destroy this bending light matrix anyway. So that may be our doom. That may be the end of the show, is Archons. But I don't think they'll be able to do it. It's gonna have to be a living soul that's gonna destroy this planet, and it's gonna be something we do by connecting with our inner self. That's what I'm getting at. All of this real shit, the real stuff, is done by people who really connect with their inner self. That's when you're going to see real magic. That's when shit clicks. It's when everything makes sense. It's when the magic starts. That's when the magic happens. Not when it's technology, not when it's some crap they're building. I know it's a lot of cool technology that Archons have built. However, it's to distract you from the very technology that's built in your brain, into the kingdom. When you have that milk and honey, the DMT released, and you are the one in the fifth dimension, you are control of this matrix and Hyperborea, then you have full manifestation powers. Fuck technology, fuck material. See, they want you to get sucked into the material. Oh, look at my nice fancy car. And that stuff's all nice and fancy. There's nothing wrong with it. You can recreate it in the fifth dimension, so it doesn't matter. If you want a Tesla car, super Lamborghini, like I've checked into some of the cool new Lamborghinis that are out. It's like, wow, that's amazing art and just really truly remarkable, cool stuff. However, it was designed by you through an Archon, and you can take that to the next world one day if you wanted to. Or you can just fly around in your own car, body, soul, self, like a spirit vehicle, a spirit mobile, and just plow through this existence and enter into like this heavenly realm where you're like, it doesn't even make sense. The physics will not make sense. You'll just be floating through life, just flying through dimensions. And that's just a way to say it. Like, when I say this shit, take it for a grain of salt, because I can't even express the true magnitude of the shit that I'm seeing and I've experienced. And I'm like, wow, how I often will sit for weeks and maybe months and not talk to you guys about something or say something, and it's because I feel like I'm going to really dumb it down and it's going to sound stupid. That's how crazy this shit is. When I talk about the fifth dimension, I almost dread it. I don't even want to talk about it, because I just know I'm not doing it the ado. I'm not doing it the right caliber. I mean, I can emotionally express it to you like I am now, like, yeah, you know, how cool it is. But I don't believe there's even a way to express the fourth dimension. So how the fuck am I going to ever talk about the fifth dimension? And I'm literally, that's my life's purpose today, is let me try to break the fifth dimension down somehow, you know. It's really difficult. At least we should be talking about these infinite dimensions as heavenly bliss. Because if we're manifesting shit, then let's talk about it. And then maybe we'll be able to manifest it. We surely aren't manifesting it if we don't talk about or acknowledge it, right? So let's fucking acknowledge this shit and then live it. That's what I'm about. I'm a solutions guy. Let's go do this shit. I already know, and you know, what to expect in this third dimension, the 3D. It gets good. What? Sex, you can get fucked up, euphoric, you can be high, you can be drunk. I mean, then you got everything. Maybe you got money, you're happy, you're chained and shackled to happiness. You got the big house, got a car, you got a nice job, career, girl, wife, kids, I don't know. Whatever. Material. Third dimension. How much of that can you have? And then why are most of the people who have everything, they're like, well, and I'm actually depressed. Or they won't admit it, or maybe they do, whatever, right? And here I'm telling you, all along, all you had to do was manifest overcome the fourth dimension, time, space, and this stupid material shit that's being controlled by that power that is very overwhelming, there's no doubt. Sexual drive, lust for power, money, all that shit is very powerful. It is totally Luna and Saturn. There are energy that if you want and desire well enough, you will bring it into your life, and thick and thin, whether it's good or bad, it will affect you. Okay? I've had it all. I've had $1 million plus in my hands, in my possession. I've had the nice place to live, nice Cadillac, $60,000 Cadillac, $52,000 NV2500 cargo truck. Alright, whatever. You know? Did any of that make me happy? I had it all, man. Whatever I wanted, I could get. I mean, I had to work for it, pay for it, whatever. Okay. But, it did not make me happy. I'm just going to be honest with you. It was easier, more convenient, blah, blah, blah. But when I gave up all that shit, I sold my truck, I sold my whole life, everything. Got rid of my girlfriend that I was with, that whole life gone. 6 years of this shit. And actually, most of my life, I've even had it greater than that when I was younger. But regardless, no, it did not make me happy as connecting. And all this shit that I'm telling you about, I learned in 2 years. And it's because I quit my job, I threw all this shit away, I said, fuck it. You know, I'm sick of this. I'm not happy. I'm not at a place I want to be. I know there's got to be something better in this matrix. And sure enough, fucking journey of the lifetime. Realizing I am God. I manifest this shit. This whole matrix is a manifestation of my inner fears, my shadow reflections, and what I desire or want. And I've been trained to desire and want a dreadful, miserable, depressing life. Basically by my own demise and self-induced voluntary act. Think about that. Is that not true? You're the one getting in your own goddamn way? Yep. Well, fuck that then. I'm going to be blissful. I will be happy. I'm going to be a happy guru. 24/7, you know? Even if it seems pretentious or a little bit zany, who gives a fuck, you know? Go ground barefoot, walking around, gaze at the sun, hang out with the deers, the butterflies and the bees, the birds and the fucking wildlife. I go out there every day. I just love it, you know? And I know our oxygen levels, the Archons, they've depleted that. It's like 96% of our forest is just desolate, destroyed. Whatever, you know? But we get more magical powers the closer you get to that God, the sun above, which is the equator, for example, okay? So, yeah, I do definitely say let's live this shit. Let's go let's stimulate the Matrix. Let's stimulate this blissfulness. Can we do it? Let's go back to Eden. Fuck it. There's 86% of Belize is uncharted, and I just picked that as a location. It could be anywhere. You could go to Brazil. There's places that's still untouched. 86% is untouched. It's just like pure, you know. And that's, I hate calling it Belize because it's not the point. It's part of God. It's part of the black sun. Everything we're standing on is a reflection of the black sun. So it created all this. That's what's the most amazing thing about all this. And we're walking and living it out. And that's what the black sun subconsciously is, like this supercomputer brain that is basically manifesting and holding it down from the sunlight. And we're living on this sunbeam of light, life, illusion. It's all an illusion. Just about maybe 1% of it, 0.1%. of our existence is not an illusion, okay? And of that 0.1%, and this is just throwing numbers out here, I mean, this is basically how powerful the subconscious is. That 0.1% is your subconscious. If we were to call that anything, we could call that the dark energy, which makes up what science says 80 to 85% of everything in our galaxy, in our universe, right, is made up of dark matter. And again, these are one of their science words, just like wormhole, black hole, gravity. They're quantum bullshit, okay? Quantum this and that, and light speed bullshit, okay? Nothing is duality. Nothing is broken into two poles. Nothing is light speed. Nothing is a wormhole or a black hole necessarily. Yeah, there's a black hole sun, perhaps you could say that. Dark matter is a product of that. See, this is their ways of getting around actually giving credit to what it is. It's that black sky above the black hole, and it's in the inner Earth. We're inside the Earth. See, it's completely backwards, isn't it, to what they've told us. Makes perfect sense. So everything Archons have taught us, which we told them, to invert our reality into a giant, big-ass fucking lie, basically. We're, instead of being in the Earth, we're on the Earth. We're spinning. Instead of the fact that the black sun is spinning. It's going this way and that way at the same time. How crazy is that shit? It goes both directions. That's called polarity. So it's going both directions, creating a dielectric acceleration, and magnetism is a product of that. It builds up. When the dielectric acceleration is drained out, that's the shit that's in the center, it's creating this ether that builds up, and then with some spark, which we cannot explain, creates this light illumination, an action. We have no fucking clue where it comes from, right? This is why I told Ken Wheeler, okay, so you don't know where that light illumination came from. Alright? There has to be a source. There has to be a fucking source to that. Oh, but science, we can't find the field, so we don't know if light exists, because we can't find the field. We can't find the source. Okay, so we can't find the field, we can't find the light. What the fuck is doing this? Right? Light. What is it? And I'm telling you, that's the biggest question of all. But I could tell you this, if you don't know what counter space is, or magnetism, then there's no way you could even really understand light. You know? We, of course, see the wave action of light. We see that fucking sun. We see it. Just like a light bulb. We see the bulb light up. Where is it coming from? Where is that spark? Oh, a lightning bug, a great example. How the fuck does a lightning bug light up? You tell me that, because I can tell you this. Science has no clue. Okay? Where does light come from? Yeah? It has to be a dark energy source. This is where we come up with the black sun. And the only reason I know that is because I've interacted with this energy. I've seen God. I have connected with this black spinning vortex, out my window, because I almost wanted to die. I was suicidal at one point. I just wanted to get the fuck out of the Matrix. The closer I got to realizing this Matrix is a material world, I didn't want to be here anymore. I had really said I have everything. I had money. I had my career, people, friends, life, whatever. And I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't fulfilled. There's something missing. And that's when this power that was much bigger, much greater than I, came to me to tell me I'm on the right track and that I actually am that power. And that's what blew my mind. It was almost like giving me the keys to the car, realizing, God damn, I was the car all along that I needed. I didn't need my guitar, my keyboard, my car. No. I had the instruments, the tools. They were right there, lying inside of myself. All the answers, the solution, everything. It was in the heart center. Just like that black sun above is in the heart of it all. This is why every day you wake up and you go outside, there's the heart staring at you right in your face. Just like when you stare in the mirror and you look at your pupil right dead in the center of the mirror. That pupil is just like this black sun. And it comes in many forms. There's no doubt. There's the sky above. That could be the black sun. Okay, if you go to the North Pole, you go inside the Earth. There could be another black sun. This is where you see these black holes are holding all these different versions of themselves. And like I said, when I went to the fifth dimension, Hyperborea, I saw this apparent, like no bullshit, like, yep, there it is today, this huge ass black sun, ball, black version of the sun right there. And what was trippy was it lit up the whole outer space, and I was inside the space. So that's how I understand counter space. I was there. I'm in it. And anyone who's had lucid dreams, outer body experiences, when you overcome your fear fully, you will tap into that. And in your right time. You're hearing it from me, then I'm like this prophet that's telling you, hey, keep going this direction, buddy. Keep doing that spirit work you're doing. You're fucking in for a world of surprises right down the corner. And I'm the crazy madman, right? That sounds nuts. I'm the crazy job, right? Whatever. But you keep doing the spirit work, the meditating, the gazing at the sun, the being thoughtless, selfless. You keep doing that, and then you discover this shit. You discover further shit that I don't even know. Because I'm basically just in your reality for this moment as a guide, a motivator, an inspirer for you that you created for this very moment in time. Just like me ranting this shit out to you guys and expressing it's helping me in my journey to delve in deeper. So we're helping each other, and that is singularity. It's not this circle jerk of, well, I'll agree with your findings if you agree with my findings, and oh yeah, this so-and-so person's very spiritually, or this person's very highly intelligent, intellectualite, and then, oh, we're going to write a book about it. That has nothing to do with the goddamn thing. And that is exactly what science has turned into. Science has always been that. Again, because it's run by a bunch of soulless archons to begin with. We have to demand that we do not ever get our information from science. We can listen to them so we can see and correlate it with our shit, maybe. But we have to create real, true alchemical science, magic. See, that's the thing. Science is 99% bullshit, and a lot of it is, there's some merit, but the main 1% that they miss out on is the magic, the ether, They won't even say that word ether for a good damn reason. They don't want anything they can't measure that's unseen to be considered real. That's why they don't believe in God. And in a sense, I mean, I don't believe in the man-made versions of God. If anything, you are God. If that word means anything, it means truth. The true truth, absolute true truth, is God. And that is only found in your heart. Plain and simple. I don't give a fuck what religion you believe, what bias, what dogma. You have God in your heart. That is the true truth. You are the only source for the truth. You. Plain and simple. I can follow my heart, say some things, and you can collaborate with me, and you can agree with me and say, wow, Eric is really spiritually enlightened with the God within himself. I can hear it, and it makes sense to me, and I have that too. I want to have that, or I do have that. I'm a living soul. Then we can agree or collaborate and connect with that connection, the Merkaba, the 144 living souls, whatever, that divine connection is. I remember I had earlier today woke up and I could hear my brother Sean say something. He said, hey, and I mean, it woke me up. And it actually got me to go and turn my phone on, and sure enough, it was right then and there. My friend Sean had texted me. At that moment, like, it's just a random ass time. Like, we just communicate off and on, and like, it's just totally spiritual. Like 100% unadulterated spirit shit goes on between me and him. And like he said, the same thing, like he had brought up the whole thing, but it was crazy because I heard him like loud and clear as I was just like, maybe I should wake up. I don't know if it was like noon or something, and I'm just like having the best chill sleep of my life and everything, and then all of a sudden it's just like, hey, and I mean, it was like the perfect timing and everything, and I just thought, is that not crazy? That's like some telekinesis and telepathy type shit going on. And because I wasn't sure, like, do I even want to get up today? Like, it's one of those days where I was just like, I want to meditate and just chill and not even turn on anything, not bother anybody, just not be bothered by anything, not even social media, online, because it all turns to drama anyway. But it was so cool to see that if you turn off all your equipments and shit, you can literally tap into a connection. Dare I say, if we left the whole Matrix, we went, like I said, lived off the jungle, I mean, look, imagine what's the worst we could lose. Let's say we just said for a year, we're going to go out in the jungle, live off the land, live off the grid. And then we're like, fuck, it's really terrible out there too. This sucks. I hate it. I hate my life. It's fucking miserable. It's a challenge. It's a struggle. I can't stand this. Which I already know. That's just not how it's going to go. But, let's just say, give it the benefit of the doubt, right? Like, so we did that for a whole year and just said, fuck it. We're going to get spunked out, live off the land, live off the grid, and build our shit. Fuck everybody else. Fuck money. Fuck rules. Fuck regulations. Fuck the law and what they tell you to do and the religion. And we do our own thing. And like I said, give it a year. Like, if we just gave it a year, maybe take us 2 or 3 years to build all this shit up and do whatever, until we figure out, this isn't really for me. I don't want to do this anymore. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. Leave. And go back to the Matrix, right? I mean, the Matrix is always going to be there, right? Well, not necessarily. We don't know. I know this. The fall of the Republic is already before us. If you watch my Go Green Light to Infinite Freedom and the End of All Evil series, you'll see I broke everything down that was about to happen to America over almost a year ago. And a year ago and a half, I said the virus is going to come in Asia, and it's going to go swipe through Europe and Russia and all the way to the Middle East into America. It's going to be the greatest pandemic ever. I said that shit a year and a half before Corona, Gina, Rona, Gyra virus came out. I knew it was, or I manifested it. Again, because you can input in the supercomputer above this black sun, in the below, what reality you want. Cry out to it. Say, I'm sick of this shit. I'm sick of seeing goddamn raccoons and roadkill on the side of the road, squirrels getting squashed and killed, and birds nests falling and being killed. That's my family. I love seeing nothing more than raccoon family. And you know what I hate seeing is I gotta see them running around like they're a bunch of bandits. A bandit that's like being accused of a murder or something. They shouldn't have to struggle out here, y'all. That's just fucked up. That's fucking wrong. I believe. I mean, I don't care what animal you are. We struggle, they struggle too, man. It's not right. We could easily, if we lived in a real living soul world, that wouldn't happen, would it? There's no reason for it. And no, our matrix is cold and cruel and dark. We got these F-150 trucks going 60 to 80 miles per hour, spun out, going through the side roads and shit, and just don't even have a care in the world about anybody but themselves, drinking their beer and their fucking whatever, you know, having a good time, I'm sure. But no one even thinks once that all of this shit, this grand scheme of things, the bigger picture, no one thinks this shit's fucked up. That's what's baffling to me. I mean, come on, you know?
I would say this is some crazy shit, but now I'm not so certain. Should I sign?
Well, let's see what she's talking about. So we were just talking about time, space, continuum, and then we were talking about wormholes. Now we're talking about quantum physics. Why are quantum physicists trying to control time? Which, again, is a bullshit idea. Only people who can control time is the living souls. You control the time. Don't ever forget that. Not quantum physics. Fuck them. As you read these words, physicists and scientists around the world are using taxpayer-funded government programs to shatter our notion of time and space, potentially altering the course of history itself. Or we could say the fourth dimension. In itself, it's an oxymoron, though, at the same time. For example, Australian researchers are using protons to stimulate quantum particles as they travel through time itself. Even though quantum time mechanics is very recent theory, first predicted in 1991, it has caught fire within the scientific community, who eliminated ethics and morality from their dangerous experiments. See, and that, I don't know. That's Archons saying shit like that it's getting ethically out of control and moralistically dangerous. Well, but in the reality scheme of things, anything is quantum. Like we said earlier, if you watched in the beginning of this segment, we really went deep on that topic of quantum this, speed of light that, gravity, all bullshit. But it can be explained, even though most of this shit, protons, particles, quantum particles, time and space, is misconstrued. Yes, there's no doubt about it. The ethics is a joke. Scientists and physicists have not been scientists for many, many years. It's turned into a new age religion. There's no doubt about it. Sadly. It used to be alchemy. It was found in Kemite, the Egyptians, the Mayans. Every indigenous person knew about spiritual magic, known as Tantra magic. Tantra just means the old way of saying technique or technology, magic, technology. A lot of people think it's sex. Tantra magic is sex, yeah, but that's because that's where the creative fluid comes from, is the sexual inertia of your brain. That chemical. If you didn't have that in you, we'd be a bunch of AI robots. And there's many people who are. That's how I know when someone says they have erectile dysfunction or they're not sexually fertile, for example, or virgile. That they probably don't have those creative fluids because they've wasted all of it. And there's a whole spiritual aspect of that too. How you can waste your milk and honey, the DMT that's released in your brain. We talked about oxytocin and epinephrine and norepinephrine, serotonin, oxytocin. These things are chemical compounds found and produced in our brain chemically to make you feel good, like alkaloids in kratom or heroin, oxycontin. It releases the same type of chemicals and alkaloids. So that's the beauty of all of that stuff. But you can produce it yourself naturally. You can release it yourself naturally, and feel really top par, euphoric and very godlike, without anything other than that connection with your heart center. Now, the thing is, yes, they have altered in the Matrix. They've made this more virtual than you can imagine. They've made it where, yes, we will deplete your oxygen. Yes, we will deplete the minerals that you need, like magnesium, iodine, boron, copper, B12. Okay? No, you need those things for our physical body to produce things in our brain. Yes, all those things are found naturally in good optimum soil and location. This is why I constantly talk about Belize. 86% of it's uncharted territory. It's been untouched. It's lush. It's pure. It's precious. It's just, I mean, it's invaluable. And you buy a plot of land for $10,000 for an acre or two, okay, because that's probably what it cost me to buy a couple acres that I have. I would say no. It is going up in price, but I would say it's worth millions in the precious nutrient mineral density of the soil, the air quality, which produces ether and bioplasma that nowhere in the United States can even hold the rights to this precious air quality, the water. And see, then that makes it look like I'm an elitist, like, oh, it's better over here, but it's not good here, you know. And that's not at all what I'm trying to do. It's our curse, goddammit, for the way we fucking live. That's the thing to get through your head. Or not your head, but whoever's head. Okay? We weren't designed to create a taxation system based off usury, borrow, lend, and trade at a loan price and interest rate at the end of the day at 19% interest per year. Okay, no, that's fucked up. Okay, that's not natural. That's not divine love. That's not giving. We are giving, compassionate, loving, divine, ethical creatures. We are supposed to be, if you're a living soul. Okay, no, we don't just destroy and take out 1 acre of trees every fucking second. That 96% of our forestry destroyed. Millions upon millions of trees destroyed every day, taken down. So we can build a treehouse version called a house that's so energy efficient that you actually end up stuffy-minded and allergenic because the carpet you lay down is filled with formaldehyde and other chemicals. Oh, Eric, you're just overbearing with information that's just going to drive me crazy with all the chemicals you're talking about. Like, we're sick. Well, Eric, not everybody I see is sick. Yeah, they are, actually. Most people are cancer-ridden. 50% will die of cancer or heart disease, 50%. 1/4 has diabetes. Out of those 1/4, half of them will die of diabetes or get their arm amputated or their leg amputated. Most people, 76%, are overweight. 50% now are obese. That's insane. Or it's 34%, excuse me. Okay, come on. You know? Emily! Hey, and Hex Plane is here. Y'all, what is up? I'm sorry, I didn't look at the screen till now. I don't know when you guys posted that shit. I feel bad. Abubola, welcome. It's partying and up time tonight. I know, there I go ranting again. But, you know, I love y'all. I do. I appreciate that you guys are here and you guys supporting this. And I know we've created each other to just that right amount of push and motivation and inspiration for each other. And sometimes we don't get it from our close friends. Sometimes we don't get it from our companion, lover, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we just needed to hear something that is, like, mentally stimulating, something different. And that's why I even go out on a limb for myself, a leap of faith, like, what am I doing here? What the fuck did I wake up today? You ever felt like that? Like, and you look in the mirror and you're like, I'm a different person today. Like, I don't look like the same person in that mirror. Like, who the fuck is that? If you haven't looked in the mirror a long time, you know what I'm talking about. And, you know, it's like, why do I even want to look in the mirror today? Fuck that mirror. But if you looked in that mirror and you saw that pupil in your eye, that is the black sun. It connects, you know when they say the eyes are the windows to the soul? I mean, literally, yeah. And that's what's funny about some Archon phrases is we created Archons to say all these little things that actually in some right are brutally honest, like that, like the windows are the eyes to the soul, or the eyes, love is in the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Okay, so you find some Archons say exactly what you tap into with your heart, mind, and soul. I don't know how many times I've said something after I gazed for 7 hours or some shit, and I'll say some like wise ass shit, like just really deep shit, and then some Christian will come along or some, busybody will say, "Oh, but Eric, Jesus Christ said that in John 4:13 or some shit," and I'm like, "Really? Wow, okay. Thanks for letting me know, informing me." Like everything I just experienced then just went out the window. Fuck him. Like that shit. Jesus said it first, guys. Fuck it. I'm just repeating his shit. No. Maybe you ever think that you're connected with, Hermes, the sun god? That's you, your conscious self, and when you connect with that of course you say some wise ass shit, and it's the same shit that people written books about, like the Bible, the Torah, the Emerald Tablets, the Book of the Dead. Of course, all that, Guess who wrote it? You wrote it. That's who wrote it. Every great song that's ever been written that hits home to you at this moment in time, every great book, every great artist, art, work, I don't care what it is, video games, okay, all of it. If you're playing it, if you're watching it, if you enjoy it, you designed it, and you designed it exactly the way it is, just for you. It was designed. When people say, "Oh man, this sweater, this hat, this was made just for me," yes, it was. You designed it that way. That's how deep this goes. Yes, you wrote every book ever made. Can you imagine if one source is the ultimate source? This is what science doesn't want to talk about. It's singularity. Then no, we are all connected to that one source. Meaning, we're no more unique than each other. Doesn't mean that, we shouldn't say, Leonardo da Vinci wasn't brilliant or something. Yeah, he's a brilliant guy. Amazing artist out here. These are amazing people. I love artists. I love all types of people. To me, when you do art, you are directly connected with God. Lilith, Lucifer, the Black Sun. So anyone who wants to say they don't like that name, Lucifer or Lilith, or this Black Sun is evil, well then you don't connect with your art side. When you see people who do maybe hula hoops or dancing or jump roping or draw on a stencils or a canvas or on a piece of paper, drawing, sketching, artwork, painting, okay, you, no matter what, are connecting with your right hemisphere of your brain, which is God. There's no two ways about that. You are connected with God. So that's why it feels so good and therapeutic too, like when you do gardening or you draw or you paint. I love playing my keyboard. I love it. It keeps me alive. I play my guitar. I love to sometimes sing or do poetry. But the most fun part is not when I'm sitting here thinking about it to make goddamn fucking money. You see what I'm saying? That's why I've never charged anybody for my music. If I play music, people like it, I'll send them a CD or me playing something. They're like, I've had many people say, "Eric, I wish I had your music in the car when I'm riding somewhere." And I'll make them burn a CD and I will send it to you. I don't care. Or I'll send you the YouTube link to a free, version of it, whatever, or download, and people can listen to it. It's really cool. I may even start doing that on the podcast just for fun. People, I have them say, "Eric, I haven't heard you play keyboard in a long time live. I would love to hear that." And I love doing that, and that's why I love doing it. It's because it feels like it gives me a purpose or meaning to share that what's in my heart today, my expression. And I think people who do art and dance and do things, they understand that very well. We all understand each other in that communication. I feel that is divine love, and that's the greatest communication tool. Not this English I'm speaking to you now. To me, this doesn't mean shit. These words, they're platonic. You can say as many words as you want, but if you don't mean it, then it truly doesn't mean shit, does it? And often I knew people, they'd get drunk, they drink alcohol, they get fucked up, and they would say shit that was like, they meant that shit deep in their heart. You're like, "Man, I didn't know you felt that way about me," or "Wow, that's incredible." I don't know if you know anybody like that yourself, you guys, but why can't we discover that same connection, that honest view and heartfelt, like when you're drunk or high? Why couldn't we naturally do that? Why do we got to get fucked up, shit-faced, drunk to be able to express our feelings? So we got to numb ourselves first. We got to then induce ourselves with chemicals we're lacking, or we need, so we now can feel a certain way. Let's say we're high, right? And then I feel so good, I just can't help but I'm going to express my life to you and what I think about you or how I feel. Okay? Imagine if you could do that every day, all day, any day of the week. Can you? Well, surely not. If you have responsibilities, if you've got to pay bills, if you got to go, obligate yourself to some requirement, right? So, I mean, what do? You just bottle it up, keep it in, say fuck it. I used to share like I am now to my companion that I loved for it would have been 7 years now, and it's very different when you decide to just cut ties with that person or people, and you just you move on, and it's hard because it's like you either have to move on if it's serious, for example, because if you go back, you already know what's going to happen. It's going to be on repeat mode. It's like putting on a broken record. It's like, yeah, going back to that shit. It's going to be about this or that. Maybe it'll be about sex. It's going to be about this, and then now it's this drama. Oh, she's going to make me angry, and I'm going to piss her off, and we're fighting again. And then depending on who you are, it could end up getting violent. It could get serious. It could be calling the police, or it could be breaking shit or hiding stuff, vindictive, vengeful, revengeful. I hope not, but you've heard everything. I've heard every story. I was locked up for many years. I've heard every goddamn story on this planet. Before TikTok, before Tinder, before Facebook and any of this shit existed, I was there hearing real life stories, and I was like, holy shit, you know what I mean? So, if you're 30, 40 years old, you've heard probably just about everything. And today it is crazy times. It's like, but we're creating that through these archons. These crazy times it's almost like we're creatively like, we're out of shit today, what are we gonna do? And then we gotta pull something out of our ass, and then we see some crazy motherfucker that does some stupid ass shit, and then all of a sudden now coronavirus is spreading everywhere, right? Where's this shit coming from? Where the fuck? Where did this shit come from? You see what I mean? So, in other words, if we knew a virus was bad, and I said, like I told you a year and a half ago, I said there's going to be a virus. It's going to start in Asia. It's going to go through Russia, Europe, and it's going to end up in the Middle East and in America. Pandemic. You watch. People thought I was nuts, man, when I said that. A year and a half ago, people literally said I lost it. That's when they said, Eric, you have fucking lost your mind. And then sure enough, a year later goes by, and then they started talking about Corona. It was all on these different movies we were watching. Netflix even talked about it, Asian Netflix. And then it was a year and a half later, totally, bam, Corona virus gone viral. And I'm like, I gotta admit, as much as I knew it was gonna happen, it was still a bit of a shocker, because I was like, damn, I've been saying that, and then shit, it really manifested. So this is a part of that evolution of the magic right there, is when you start to manifest this shit. Start now. I'm telling you, it takes a while for it to spiral into effect. You start this shit now. You're connecting with your subconscious. Know that subconscious is this black sun, and visualize that. There's a Merkaba in the middle. That's the Metatron, whatever the star, and it's doing its thing, and that's what's making the sun go. The sun go, bending light, you're on the bending light. You see this black sky above, it's the black sun, is actually inside the earth. Completely contrary to everything you've been taught. No, we're not on a spinning ball. And yes, of course, the archons have been programmed by us to say, Eric, you're crazy. You've totally lost it. We're on a spinning ball going 4,000 miles per hour, held down by this magnificent magical force that we can't explain, known as gravity. Right? Wrong. Gravity is electromagnetism. It's due to don't know where this comes from, but illumination of light comes out of nowhere, like a spark, like a lighter spark. Just, where did that lighter just spark out of nowhere to light that cigarette? Boom. Electricity. Electricity plus the magnetism is, in sense, full sense, electromagnetism. Completely. It's the inversion AC inverter. It's exactly the opposite. So that is how this is all works. Who are spiritually enlightened, and we don't just believe all the bullshit that we're told. I mean, for 10 years I believed in the conspiracy theories, the YouTube religions out there that tied in the Bible, and then they're fine with any bullshit that's out there as long as it ties in with one of two things: some dogma, bias, belief in some god, angels, demons, aliens, UFOs, or some other goddamn thing from another planet, not here, millions of planets, 92 million miles away, some black hole, blah blah blah. They change up the words, they change a different meaning. It's not gravity, it's electromagnetism. It's been improperly labeled, totally misconstrued. Why isn't they don't know about magnetism? We're so brilliant with our flashy computers and technology. We don't even have flying cars, but regardless if we did, that technology is only being hidden because us living souls are not figuring it out yet. That it's all within. We can do telepathy and, time warping, whatever. But first, to overcome time, to be a time traveler, you've got to not let the time construct even apply to you. Fuck their time. Let go of time. Forget it. Then you will be able to time travel. That's the key right there, and it's amazing most people can't figure that out. Truly. This game's overreacting like there's going to be some machine science is going to create a time travel because of these physicists. Bullshit. And there is no such thing as quantum either. This is all rhetoric that archons spew out there. Then you will be able to time travel. That's the key right there, and it's amazing most people can't figure that out. Truly. This game's overreacting like there's going to be some machine science is going to create a time travel because of these physicists. Bullshit. And there is no such thing as quantum either. This is all rhetoric that archons spew out there, and we as living souls have to stick together and say, no, fuck their science. This shit is such bullshit. This is not real. So where are we at?
Thanks, Victoria. I always wanted to be a Max meme when I grew up. She'll spread that shit everywhere.
Yeah, there's this girl.
And I thought I was into Halloween. Dana is not messing around here.
Dana. Bring it back, well, bloodsuckers. Next to prom night and Bigfoot ball, my favorite time of year is annual Ghoul Days, Black Halloween, Pate. Picture me busting a thriller zombie move. Principal Wells has given us almost carte blanche to decorate the halls and the gym within taste and safety, so I want every student to be scared shitless when they walk into their classroom. I know y'all have tons of homework, as I do, but let's make this a Halloween that Blackwell will never forget. The decoration committee meets at the gym at 3:30 next Wednesday, October 10th. Gives you plenty of time to not have any excuses for flaking. Yeah, you simps. And if you don't show up to help haunt the halls, the boogeyman will get you. Let's show Blackwell our ghoul power. Pleasant screams, Dana the Dead. And that's another word that kind of reminds me of archons, is ghouls. They're kind of like ghosts. It's kind of funny. Archon, ghouls, ghosts. Did you know they all equal the same number, 5, which is created from the Merkaba. When you have the Merkaba, 7 and 7, which is 14, equals 5, and that's what's creating this bending light we're on. So everything that we see that's not us is a 5. So archons are a 5. It's kind of interesting, you think about it. So in other words, archons are a blessing. No matter what, everything is a blessing, truly. But we have to stop allowing the archons, like giving our superpower to them and then creating a matrix of chaos. That's pretty much what's happened. And so then we're reincarnated energies, and throughout the ages, since nobody's done anything about it, guess what? We're the one living with the curse and the repercussion. So it's like how long can we keep kicking the can down the road before we can say, alright, we gotta change this shit. And as a living soul that I am, I passed the test. I cannot keep living this way. I'm going to go back to Eden, live off the land. And my life it's going to be all that much better, and it will create a trigger in the Matrix that will change the whole world. I know that. That's what I think a lot of people don't understand. This kind of reminds me of growing up. Let me see. Like in high school and shit. That's kind of why I like this game, and I like the other game too, was because it reminds me of high school. Which, if you guys know my story, I may have told Sean. I don't know if I've told you, Emily, or anyone else out there that's watching, that I did not have a normal upbringing, and I'm not going to be on a soapbox about it or blah blah blah. I'm not going to play victim here, but no, I literally did miss out on most of my high school. Like, I just didn't have that. Like, I was locked up at 17, which I was one of the youngest people locked up, and so that screwed up everything, and it didn't have to be that way. So, but it's great because it was more unique, made me who I am today, and, you know, I don't regret any mistakes, quote unquote. I don't believe there is any mistakes. It's destined path of serendipity, you know. So I don't know how y'all are doing tonight on this beautiful Saturday night. It's glowy, gleaming, and it seems just holographic out there tonight. I don't know. I feel a really strong energy. The past 2 days have been really cool.
I can't keep my eyes open, but I know there's a scientific answer.
My God, she's got a lot of different things. What if I'm the one of Hawking's fables, Time Taurus? See, and I don't even like, what's his name, John or David Hawkins, basically because he says we are, okay, he proves everything I say about Archons. Let's just get that straight. Go read David Hawkins' book, okay? He believes we all are spontaneously here. Keep this in mind. He's talking about himself and other Archons, okay? So if you read his book, he literally admits that everything that people do is a spontaneous generation of, like, thoughts bouncing off the wall that connect together, and none of us have a soul. Now, basically, to me, what he's doing, from our standpoint, we're living souls, you and I, alright? We know we have a heart, we have a living soul. Okay, it sounds like to me that he is an Archon, and he's admitting that to the other Archons, that we're all soulless beings anyway. Like, it's the most honest Bible book of physics, of their reality. And the book that he made is used so that it can distort us and detour us from us knowing we're living souls. So basically, if you read his book and lived off of his book, you will sell your soul thinking you have no soul, just like a Bible, or that you need Jesus to be the middleman to save your soul. Salvation, ask for forgiveness. Okay, when no, you have all the tools you need in your goddamn heart, you know? So it's funny, this girl here, she ends up inheriting these superpowers. She can reverse time. So she's starting to look into all the science of how she can reverse and time travel and shit like that. So she's looking up Hawkins and physics and wormholes. I mean, it's pretty interesting. The whole game is pretty interesting. So even there, it says, even though he once made fun of time travel, now he believes it's possibility. Or he's still fucking with us. He's a genius imp. Time is like a river, Einstein said. Another person, like I said, I'd never quote, who's a complete fuzzy-headed crackpot, as Tesla said, useless buffoon and Archon, none other than Einstein himself. Okay, so time is like a river. If he really did say that, and that's just not some social media meme, that's possibly the only thing good that he said. Okay, because time is similar to a river. But what that to me says is it's a great archonic phrase. Think about it. Time is a time construct. It's an illusion. So time is like a river? Well, there's kind of an allegory to this because, well, time is a illusion, and you're in an illusionary construct, time construct. A river is real, found in nature, right? I would say, if nature is real, if all of this matrix is real at all either, who knows? according to us, we're attached to it. So it's kind of like he's differentiating between nature, this river, and then he's trying to put a human man-made construct called time and then correlate the two. And see, that's exactly what Archons do, right there, to the T, man. That's why it's such a brilliant thing, because it's the epitome of who he is. He's an Archon. So he is a follower of Luna Marie, the moon, time, Saturn, time, and Luna, material. It's pretty interesting. But time being like a river, I don't know. I could say the moment is like a river. The moment is like a river, not time. Does that make sense? The moment is the river. When you're out in the river, you ever put your feet in the river and just like let it soak there and just connect with it?